You may be happy, and in the middle of being happy you say, my God, I'm happy. That disconcerts some people, because the minute they begin to know that they're happy, it starts to disappear. They wonder how long they're going to keep it. But you know, if you were happy and you didn't know you were happy, wouldn't that be too bad? There'd be, as it were, nobody home to enjoy it. See, knowing that you know is like singing in the bathtub. Everybody has a good voice in the bathroom, because the bathroom gives you resonance. It gives you echoes. It amplifies the sound, in the same way as a great cathedral amplifies the sound of a choir. And so in just that way we have, as it were, an ecosystem inside our skulls, so that we know when we're happy, we know when we're sad, and when we exist, we know we exist.
So that most people are working at tasks which they hate, so that they can make enough money to stop doing it and play. Now, this is perfectly ridiculous. Nobody needs to do that. Because what you get with work done in this way, done heartlessly and without joy, is money. And what can you do with it? Supposing you do earn time to spare and money to spend, what is there to buy with it? The answer is the other fake and joyless products made by other people who hate their work. So there is a certain phoniness, a certain lack of essential quality in almost all the work that we perform, because the work is done not for the work but for money, and play is considered something separate from work. Work is serious. Play is not serious. In fact, we have a strange incapacity to play at all, because we always, especially in the United States, play with an ulterior motive. That is to say, play is good for you. And we do everything because it's good for us, because we judge the physical world with without our senses. We judge in theory.
We might say the point of the individual is simply that he contributes to the welfare of the race. And the point of the race is that it reproduces itself, to reproduce itself, to reproduce itself, and keep going. And that isn't really a point at all. That's just fatuous. Surely the race keeps going because going is great, because it's fun. And if it isn't, and never will be, then there's no point, obviously, in going. I mean, looking at it from the most hedonistic standpoint. But then when we come to the question, what is fun? What is the joy of it? Again we come down to something that can't very well be explained in the ordinary language of meaning, of leading to something else. And this, I think, becomes preeminently true if we think of it in theological language, that the meaning of life is God.
The struggle and striving to be superior. And a lot of people that you meet among you'll recognize this among your friends all the time, are not happy unless they are involved in a contest. It doesn't matter what it is, so long as they're trying to beat something, they're happy. And you may say, oh, for heaven's sakes, can't we just sit around and talk instead of having to play a game or bet or do something to prove who's the stronger? I was once married to a girl who was never happy unless she was engaged in some kind of contest. Well, of course, I had a game that didn't look like one. And so it was a very superior game, just because it didn't look like one. But it was a form of the game, my game's better than yours.
The future is something you cannot work for exactly the same reason that you cannot work to be happy. Happiness, it's always said, is a byproduct. And it will accrue to you through becoming absorbed in something else altogether. in some other quest altogether. The quest for vision, the quest for doing something, anything, may bring happiness.
So imagine a world in which there isn't any worry. There will be disasters, but you won't know it's going to hit you. But we have figured out how to beat that world, how to last longer and to be more smart than any other creature on earth. But the price is anxiety. The price is lying awake nights. The price is having an ego. A thing in us that we call I. My self, a compound of all the memories that we have of our experiences, a history. When you are asked to give an account of yourself, what do? You give your kind of biography, where you were born, where you were educated, where you have been, where you have traveled, what things you are competent in. It's your life story, it's your history. And we learn to identify ourselves with our history. And that is a series of symbols representing the actual events through which we have passed in our lifetime. And that history is something with which we fervently identify ourselves. But all histories come to an end. And so, the more we know about our history, about ourselves in that kind of a way of knowing, the more anxiety we have about the thought that this history cannot go on indefinitely. It cannot be a story of complete success.